by James Clear. James Clear. As you can see, we have a little slideshow here. Let me just okay. So hope you can all see my screen.
Yes,
Hello,
I
can
can see your
anybody hear me?
screen. I can see your screen.
Okay.
I can see
Okay.
your screen.
So
Yeah.
okay. So we'll be reviewing Atomic Habits by James Clear, an easy and proven way to build good habits and break bad ones. So yeah, James Clear is trying to tell us that like building habits, you can build habits and you can break them. So it's more than just building good habits. There are some bad habits we have to stop or some bad habits we have to break, right? So yeah, without further ado, we are going to go to the first part of the review. What is a habit? What is a habit? This definition is not really part of the book because I started from the beginning, not chapter one. I started from the beginning where he told his story. And if you have not read the book, I think we should try and get it and read it because it's very important that we follow along, right? So
Yeah.
this definition is an extract from I think his forward, where he was talking about his near-death experience while he was in I think sixth grade. He was playing baseball and he was hit by a bat and he almost died.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that's right.
he said he survived by imbibing and he was able to survive. And when he survived, he recovered by imbibing some good habits. Many of us, when we face some experiences, we only survive, we don't recover because we have failed to follow some due processes, right? So he was able to survive, but after he survived, he was not going to remain the same if he didn't recover. And so he by imbibing some good habits and dealing with some bad habits, James Clear was able to not only survive the trauma, but he also recovered from it. And so he explained that an habit, from what you can see on the screen, according to James Clear, a habit is a routine that is performed regularly and most times automatically. So those things that you do in your subconscious, there are some things that you are not even aware that you are doing them.
That's right.
Sometimes
That's right.
you can just be perhaps some people who have beards, like unlike me, no get beards. You can just be stroking beards and you don't know it's not something that you have to force. It's not something that you have to force. It's not something that they have call you 20 times. Like me now, sweeping the floor cannot be my habit because they used to force me to do it. But something that is like now, some people they are so skilled in the art of typing that sometimes they can be looking at somewhere else and they already know where the keys on the keyboard are. They'll just start typing, and before
Exactly.
you know, before you even send your message, they have replied to the message you want to send because they have built an habit of typing on the keyboard. Some people, before you post your status, they have viewed it. I don't know, all those DB WhatsApp users. God have mercy. Because yeah, it even happened like yesterday. I posted a particular thing and that was not the way I wanted to post it. So I wanted to delete it. Before I deleted it, somebody has already sent a reply. I was like, I deleted this thing. But the person was so some people they have made an habit of immediately they see a notification, their hand just goes there. They don't have to force them to say view this message, view this. Some people now like this, before you know, they have removed the message or they have done so some things that you do. Some people is chewing their fingers, some people is a particular standing posture that, like me now, when I'm standing, I put so much weight on one of my legs. It can be either the right leg or the left leg, even though it's bad standing posture, but it's something that I just find easy to do. I don't have to force myself to that position. Once I'm standing, I'm already resting my body on one leg. So that's something like an habit. Something like an habit. And I think I've specified that habits are not only good, there can be bad habits too, right? So
Exactly.
yeah, we'll be looking at how to build good habits first of all. So the first part is telling us how small changes can affect our lives. How small changes can affect our lives. Hope everybody's following.
I'm
We
following.
are
I
drinking
don't
water
know
with you.
where everyone else.
Okay. Only 2 people are following us.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Only two
Always be
people.
like this, and 10 people. Yeah.
Okay now. Okay now. We'll see. We'll see. Let's carry on. So the second part is the aggregation of marginal gains. So if you read the book, you would see this point, even though your eyes will just skip it. I'm somebody that likes details. I take like smallest details and just make it big. Like you cannot, in fact, you might not even see this. I call it the 1% law or the 1% rule. I was supposed to change that, but I forgot. So the aggregation of marginal gains, the 1% rule. And that cast my mind back. If you are somebody that follows Saab on Instagram, you will see where he was posting um, some practice on Illustrator, right? On Adobe Illustrator, and he was putting 1% better, 1% better. I didn't understand until I read this book. So, guys, we don't catch you. we don't, we don't, we don't catch you. I was wondering where he got that idea from. I was trying to like wrap my fingers around it, but I could not understand because I had not read this book at that time. But then when I read this book and I saw it, then I was like, oh wow, so this is what he was doing. Sorry, I'm coming. Um, that was a mistake. Okay. I was like, this is what he was doing. And that was when I understood what he was doing. So the 1% law or the aggregation of marginal gains was a law that was, or a principle, let's call it a principle, that was imbibed by a man called David Brailsford. So, right, I know many of us here are graphics designers, but this is not just something that helps you in your career, it helps you also in every aspect of your life. Some of us have some really bad habits that even if no matter how good we are at what we do, like career wise, our behavioral patterns sometimes will affect the opportunities that come to us. Some people have bad eating habits that, okay, yeah, with a client a client says, come and meet me in the restaurant, and you are eating in a wrong way. That client is like, you are ill-mannered, and you lose that particular contract. Not because you're not a good designer or you're not somebody that can deliver the job, but just because of the way you are eating in front of that
God, I beg
prospective
you.
client. In front of that prospective
The way
client,
you hit,
you
the way you hit
it's
Yamala.
the way you are cutting the chicken. And some people are not wise actually, because imagine just imagine, they carry you to KFC. Your client is using fork and knife to eat. He's using a fork and a knife to eat. And you now carry you now carry hand and chicken inside the chicken.
You know, you did not
I'm
order for
serious.
ice cream, Jeje.
You now put your hand inside the chicken and you start carrying it, and the client is just looking at you. That this guy, I no go call him
He's
again.
smiling.
Shebi, you don't chop you don't chop your job, come out. So there are some. So it affects every part of our lives. It affects every part of our lives. Some people is talking the way they talk. Like now, somebody just said, "God abeg." Some clients, right? You just be talking to them and you just say, "God abeg." You just say that thing. That as small as that thing is, like, it's an habit that Nigerians is an habit that Nigerians have built, right? Any small thing, we have some reaction to it. We have some reaction, and some people are so skeptic. They would like they focus on little details, and because of that, the person just be like, this person is human, and how you come to your client and say, God, I beg. And you become too, that means you are becoming too over familiar. Maybe this person is not going to be respectful or something like that. So habits have a way of portraying what you are, who you are, right? Are we following?
Yeah.
Are we following me?
Completely.
Yeah, you're checking my table already. I'm following you now. Oh, yeah.
Okay. So, yeah. So Davis Brailsford is a British cycling performance director. Imagine where some people they let me just divert a little bit, just for a little while. Research is very good. Like research, in fact, it's not even diverting. It's an habit you should build. Like be an habit of researching, like very, very deep research. Like don't just do the surface research. Imagine like me now, when I want to research, I start with one link. That link will lead me to another link, and I never stop because there's always a link inside a link that has a link that is inside that link, and another link that is inside that link. So when you keep clicking the link, you keep finding out more about that thing. But some people just research some things and they just stop there and just, okay, I found my answer. That's all. There's always, you can never find the answer. There's always an answer to, there's always a better answer to that question you are asking. So we can see here that this guy, I don't even think he probably does not even watch cyclists. He does not even probably watch sports. I don't know about him. Maybe I'll go and research later. He's not probably a fan of cycling. But yeah, he got a story of a man that is a cycling performance director, not even a cyclist. I mean, that's behind the scenes stuff. Like that's some deep history, because you cannot really imagine football lovers, people that watch football here. Your favorite club, I'm sure you don't know the some of the assistant coaches that are there. You might know the coach, you might know the first assistant coach, but they are coaches for different things. There's the fitness coach. There's, in fact, you don't know the medical director of your team, right? Because that's some deep knowledge that only people that are inside that particular club can know. But this man was able to build an habit of research that helped him to get this particular information and put it in a story. So research is very important. Yeah. Now back to what we are talking about. David Brailsford, a British cycling performance director. Now I paraphrased here because this is not exactly what he said, but this was what I understood from what he said. Little 1% improvements will prove significant when added together. So that's I mean, when we were much more smaller, when we were little, I don't know the agbas that are here. I mean, I'm still a small boy, but I'm still learning 1 + 1. When we were much smaller, the first thing you learn with is what we call what's this thing? I've forgotten. Those things that you write, it's 1, you used to count. I've forgotten. Then when you get to 5, you slash across. I've forgotten the name of those things. They are like, please can everybody help me out? They are like 1s. When you get to 5, you slash you cross the 4 other lines. Like, God, what's the name of this
What's
thing?
that?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure I remember. I'm not sure I was even taught that.
Are you sure? No, you. If I get the name, you would know. If I get the name, I'll get back to it. Some of us, okay, some of us are very, very, very old. We have grandpas here, so they may not like have been taught. That's some people is matches that they used to teach them 1 to 3 matches.
Oh,
Okay,
I
are you
remember.
saying tally or something? Is this
Yeah, something like that.
in mathematics counting? Is
Yeah,
it
Yes,
tally
in
or
mathematics.
something? I've
Yes,
forgotten.
Yeah.
tally.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's tally. Yes, thank
So
you very much.
when you get to
So
5, yeah.
yeah, when you get to 5, you start across. So we counted in 1s there. If you don't know what you are doing, you are counting in 1s. So when they say represent 4 in tally, you count 1 to 4, And when you get to 5, you slash across, right? So those ones make up, for you to count 4 in that tally representation, you have to start from 1, right? So that 1 plus another 1 plus another 1 plus another 1 makes up 4. So that is exactly what David Brailsford is telling us here, that little ones can make up a whole lot. So those little things that you change, those little improvements that you make, those little things that you do that are not right, those little things, because we are talking about two sides now. We're not just talking about the good habits. Those improvements can be for the better, and improvements can be for the worse. So sometimes there are some bad things that you do, and when you do them the first time, you like the way they make you feel, and you continue. And so they prove significance when added together. So they become very, very big. Like now, if let's go back to the tally example now. When you start tally, it looks like as if it's a small thing now. So when you do the first 5, that's a small thing. When you do the next 5, it's still a small thing. When you are getting closer to 50, you see that the thing becomes very bulky. And in fact, some people, it will even scatter in some people's head. Some people don't even know what they are doing again. You just get confused. Right. Why? Because even no matter how small those ones that you are putting are, they are very reach a particular part that they are very significant. There's another one we used to do then. When they want us to count a particular amount of numbers, it's like tally too. Now start writing ones. Let's say you want to count 23. You will write 23 ones minus, let's say minus 17. Minus 17, you will not count 17 ones. You will not cancel that 17. But you count the remaining. You will not count the remaining out. I don't know how many of us did that. That's how I was taught maths, right? So you count 23 minus 17. You remove the 17. Then they'll say you should count the remaining. And tell us the remainder. Sometimes when they say 100 minus 27, before you count to 100, you're already confused. You're already like, what's going on? That's because no matter how small that one is, it can give you problem. It can always. It can give you problems. So and the same goes to the way these problems are solved, right? Little. If you divide a problem into smaller bits, solve them like those small bits, it helps you. Because I'm using this tally example because it's something we can relate to, right? The tally now, why do you think they cross it at 5? Why don't they cross it at 20 or 30? That's to divide it into smaller things so that you can understand it, right? Because when let's say you count 1 to 4, then you cross, you know that that's a 5. So instead of you starting to count from, 1, 2, 3, 4, you just know that, this is 1 5, this is another 5, that's 10, this is another 5, that's 15, this is another 5, that's 20. Because you have already solved them into smaller bits, right?
And easy to track.
Yes. So instead of you doing that one that we used to use for subtraction, that you count 1 to 100, you can just do it 5 with the tally. And the same thing with that one too. Exactly. That one too. When we wanted to subtract, they will tell us that count 1 to 5, cancel that one, count another 1 to 5, cancel that one, count another 1 to 5, cancel that one. So when you do it that way, you'll be able to solve the problem very easily. So in two ways, it helps us and it can also damage us. Like me now, let me use myself. I talked about some standing posture issues. The first time I did it was not the first time I started standing like that. I mean, it cannot be the first time. But when I did, I felt comfortable. When next I'm standing, I did it the same time. I felt comfortable. At a particular point in time, it just became a subconscious thing. I don't need to force myself to stand that way again. Once I'm standing, in fact, now I have to force myself to stand normally because I've already built an habit of standing that way. That when I do it subconsciously, I ask, I'm already doing this thing again. Oh. I'll force myself.
Yeah.
Well, they work. Oh. We don't try tire. but then,
Yeah.
but
Please
then,
allow me interrupt quickly, please. Allow me interrupt
okay,
real quickly.
yeah,
This thing, that's like
yeah,
doing things. It's just like this popular thing that people say, take a step at a time, right? That's like
yes,
breaking uh, a big task or a big thing into little chunks that you do. And this also connects with something that Austin Kleon said in Show Your Work.
exactly,
Austin
exactly.
Kleon
I
said,
wanted to relate. I wanted to relate.
exactly. Austin Kleon said, put out something small every day. Put out
Yes,
something small every day. That's like the work that you did today. Just put it out. It doesn't have to be something that is very big or something. And that's like it will now compound over time. Most of us will wait for, when my work is this, when my work is that, so I'll be able to do this, I'll be able to do that. And we are there for how many years? Still trying to do. It's still something that happens to me like sometimes, but you know, even that same habit of, okay, I'm supposed to do it this, I'm supposed to do it that way. It is something that comes that grows over time. It compounds over time. That's like when you're trying to build a new habit, you don't have to change like, oh, I want to become this, I want to become that, just all in a day. You can just do it little by little. Okay, let me just do this today, let me do that tomorrow. Then over time, it compounds and becomes something so big that it just looks unimaginable, right? So that's just the point. That's how it also works with this tally thing that was actually giving an example. So that's exactly. Yeah, please go ahead, please.
yeah. So August, I have even stole it out of my mouth. I wanted to like refer back to Austin Kleon. That was later in the slide, but you don't catch me. You don't catch me. So yeah, may no be like say you don't be like say we do these slides together, we you don't they hack my phone. Okay, so like you said, putting out small small things. If you have read the book Show Your Work, another book you should read. Like this book review we are doing, we are not just doing it to show off that we have read a book. The goal is
Yeah,
not like Saab said something that I saw in this book too. I've already caught him again. I caught him. I saw it in this book. The goal is not to read a book. The goal is to become a reader. The goal is not to read a book. The goal is to become a reader. So we are not just trying to show off that, okay, I've read Atomic Habits. How many books have you read this year? 20, 40. No. The goal is to build an habit of reading. Like
exactly.
reading. Like I said, like I talked about research. Research. Books are a very, very good way of research. There are books about history and all that. You might not have lived all the lives in this world. I mean, many of us are 20th century children, 19th century. The older ones are 18th century. But yeah, not all of us have lived those lives. But there are some books that will just tell you about the goings, the ongoings in this thing. So that boils down back to research, right? So it's very important that we read this book. Show your if you read that book, show your work. If you read that book, show your work, you are going to see some imagery. I love the way Austin Kleon used imagery there.
Mm.
Yeah, he showed doing posting one thing every day. So he used X's to show it. More than doing a lot of things in a particular day. Doing a lot of things in a particular day, you can do one thing per day, one thing per day. And at the end of the day, it showed a picture of the X's in a year. So if you do one
Exactly.
thing per day, you would have done 365 things in
In a year.
a year, right? Now, if you do 100 things in a day and you go off throughout that year, that means if you have done one thing per day in a year, you'd have achieved more than you did in that one
Mm.
day. Do you get? So that means you'd have already grown and you'd have achieved more than you did. Now, a little diversion. a lot of us have New Year resolutions, and that's why we cannot fulfill our New Year resolution. Why? Because you have already put, you don't have daily resolutions. Assuming you had daily resolutions, you'll be able to achieve things. But you say this year, this year we are chasing the bag. Many of us have been chasing the bag since they gave birth to us. We never find them. We have been chasing the bag. When you say today, I'll make 100 naira, and you make 100 naira today, by the end of this year, you'd have made 6,500. Are we getting? Are we following?
Yeah.
That's right.
If you say today I must make 1,000 naira, by the end of the year, you'd have made 365,000 naira. If you say, but every week I want to make 10,000 naira, by the end of the year, you'd have made 520,000 naira. Yeah, I think that, yeah, I'm correct. 520,000 naira. Are we following?
Yeah.
So that is daily resolutions, breaking things into smaller parts so that you can solve them easier. Because imagine when you see one, let me give an example now. When some people are food mongers, yes, when they put one big mold of eba in your front, you'll be like, how will I finish it? How will I finish it? So people be like, Shepe Pafini. People like Oga Uzing, when you just sit down eba like this, you just sit down.
Why are you calling my name?
No, now, no be you talk say they chop ever. Nah, we don't catch it. You don't cast now.
Code Eba.
So what do you do to the eba? What do you do to the eba? Do you carry all that big piece of eba and put it inside your mouth at once? No. What do? You start cutting it little by little. Before you know, you have finished it, and I'll be like, what is this? Kote Ekpo. The person that gave
You'll not be able to stand
the person that gave you now be like, Ulo Jelele. Parí gbogbo ẹ̀bà yìí, ó wá sọ pé kò tó.
You know when you visit your friend, and they want to give you such big meal, you say it's too much. No, it's too much. But
when
after 10 minutes,
when you have descended on the eba like this, it will finish everything. So that's the way solving problems, small problems, to achieve a bigger goal helps you, right? So let's go to the next slide. The different tiny improvements can make, is the difference, right? The different tiny improvements can make over time is outstanding. That means it shocked you, like it shocked me too. So yeah, 1% improvements every day for 1 year will make you 37% better by the end of the year. It's just basic maths. You can calculate it if you want. So 1% is basically 1.01 raised to the power of 365, 366 if it's a leap year. You get 37%. You get approximately 37%. I'm sure you approximated. So yeah. So 1% improvements every day will make you 37% better by the end of the year. So this is what we are talking about. Little by little. And also there's something he said that I didn't include here. If you get 1% worse every day, you'll be getting towards 0%. I mean, you decline. Exactly, minus. For example, let's take somebody that smokes, right? The first time he smokes, his lung is still white. After the first week, his lung is turning a little bit gray.
Yeah.
By the end of the first 6 months, it's already brown. After 365 days,
dark brown.
It's dark brown. After 2 years,
Chocolate.
you can after 2 years, after 3 years, it's probably
Yeah,
6 feet.
yeah.
So so that is what it means, that you can get worse every day. If you get worse every day, there are some people that and getting worse. In fact, it is very, very hard to become good. It's very easy to get worse. Like, it's very easy to get worse because, I mean, 0% is not always far. Because, for example, you can always get better. You can always get better. There's no end to the Greek system of numbers. There's no end to the Greek system of numbers. There's infinity, and we don't know the particular value of infinity, right? Right? I follow. Good. But there's zero. Zero is a very, very standard and sure number. Even though now we have minus and minus infinity. But if you are normal human beings like me, our own number start from zero, right? So that means zero is always visible to us. Infinity is not visible. Infinity is very far, so you can always get better. But now when you head towards zero, it is you can, if in fact, if you are 100% good, to get to zero is easier than to get to infinity, right? Am I correct? Can you hear me?
That's right. That's right. Completely.
Okay. Yes. To get, if you are on 100, to get to zero is very easier than to get to infinity. So to get to infinity is looking like an equivalent task. But to get to zero is very, very easy. So to get worse is very, very easy. To get better at something is now very hard. So at the end of the day, what I'm trying to drive at is that some people like this now, once they stop at 100, get better, they get worse. They begin to get worse because why? Zero goes to them. Zero is closing in on you. Infinity is running away from you. Zero is now closing in on you. So when you think you're at 100, and now there's an update in what infinity is, because at least we don't know what infinity is. They tell us there's an infinity. We don't know the value. So that means every day, infinity is updating itself. Infinity is one particular number. It's updating itself. Zero is standard there. It's closing in on you. So because the value of infinity keeps increasing, zero is closing in on you. So once you stop at 100, before you know, you're already back at 5. And not because you were not on 100 before, but because zero has closed in on you and infinity is already farther away from you. So that point that you have stopped at now equates to 5 based on the new update. So that's why it's good that you will begin to update yourself every time. You don't stop at a particular position. You press on, right? So let's move on. POLP, if you see the little text in it, is play of put out. Like I said, I focus on little details. You might not see me saying the big obvious things that are in that book because I expect you to read it. But I'll be saying the little things that you not really pays much attention to. Okay, so breakthrough moments are often results of many actions which build up the potential to unleash change. Many of us are looking for that big break. Some people be looking for that million idea since they give birth to them. Make I just make am. That's what all of us used to say. Make I just make am. We are chasing the bag. Many people have been chasing the bag.
Exactly.
But they have been seeing purses, like purses on the road, and they have not been picking up those purses because they feel they are chasing the bag. Now, if you take those purses, and you remove the leather, you dissociate the leather from themselves, you'll be able to make your own bag and stop chasing other people's bags. So, what does that tell us? It tells us that stop looking for that $1 million idea. So people are just like, that idea that will just drop, that will remove me from poverty. Ideas have been dropping, and you have not been taking those ideas. What makes what makes what makes you think that when that $1 million idea comes, you will not miss it too? Because start. Whoa, it's not big enough. It's not big enough. Till today, me myself, I'm talking to myself. Some people are so scared to drop small projects. They will not drop small projects. Why? It's too small, Dare. It's not even a client said I should do it. It's not. I'm talking to you, like you. I'm talking to you. I'm not talking to anybody specifically. I'm not talking to anybody specifically, but I'm talking to you.
Don't shoot our legs, though.
So
you're correct.
That small logo that you did, you cannot drop it because it's not yet a system. Because it's not a brand identity system, you cannot drop that small logo.
It's not 1 million project.
As in, it's not 1 million. In fact, you are speaking my mind. It's not 1 million naira project. You cannot drop it because you collected 5,000 for that logo. Because you collected 5,000 naira for that logo, you don't want to drop it on your Instagram. It's not.
You don't want to say, person when they charge 1 million, don't charge 2K before. You don't know.
As in, you don't. It's designers these days that are even proud. Safe. You cannot collect 5K for logo. Who do you think you are? Okay. So I will refer you to somebody's page. Lumino GOC. Lumino posts. He posts logos. Yes. He posts. I think Oluwatobi David. I don't know whether that's the Instagram, but is Lumino GOC. You should search it on Instagram for everybody that is listening and follow him and check out his work. What he does that I like is that he does not post full brand projects on his Instagram. He posts logos, different logos on his Instagram. That means he does not need it to be a very, very big project before he shows it. He just posts marks. Okay, I explored this one today, and he puts it there. I explored this one today, he puts it there. He communicates with his audience. So you are on 50 followers, and him that is on like 1,000 some followers, and you are not comparing yourself to him. You can even post that ugly design, this, or you cannot do that small thing. That's the thing. A lot, because sometimes when I follow people, I like to go back to their first post if I can get there. There are some people that have over 1,000 posts. I don't care about them. Even on WhatsApp, when I followed him, I started going. Before I click that follow button, I have to see like what you have done. So I go down and down and down and down.
The down for some people is like infinity. You continue to go.
If you check Instagram, Jesus Christ. I did not get to the end though. But I got to some point.
You'll be forced to go back up.
Some people want this infinity. You just go back to zero. So I kept scrolling. I was scrolling. I kept checking what he has done before, what that person has done before. Why? Because it helps you, right? So it helps you to know that okay, these people started from somewhere. They didn't just get to where they were. Like now, there's a particular skit maker that I admire a lot. His name is Lai Wasabi. He's a skit maker that I enjoy his skit a lot. In fact, like if I go to Instagram, it's just to watch his skit and get out of there. So most times the law. So
it's different.
Yeah. So and when I decided that okay, let me go back to what he started with, I began scrolling, and it got to a point I was like, these skits are not that interesting. But if you see his content now, you watch it like 5 times. you still laugh the same way you were laughing at the beginning. In fact, you even laugh more because it's so funny now that you will not think about when it first started. But a lot of us just want, as in all of you just want to see he's a big person now. How will I become big? How will I become big? You not think about improving yourself today. So like I said, many of you are chasing the bag. But those small purses that you are seeing on the floor, and you are picking it, and you are removing the leather that is there, you can make your own bag at the end. You can make your own way, not chasing that $1 million idea or chasing that big thing. A lot of people
at a time.
Yes, at a time. Like now, Albert Einstein that is giving us problem in school now. That we see this Einstein law of this one, Einstein law of this one. He's giving us problem in school now. Do you think he started from big problem? No. They say it's apple that eats his head. They say it's apple that fell down on his head. They say it's apple that fell down on his head that he started writing equations that is showing us shege in school now. Do you think it's easy? No. It didn't start from a big this. He was probably thinking of something. A small, how can I solve this small problem? Today, many of us are thinking about the nearest future. And I've come to change my mindset about this question. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? I mean, in the next, if I see myself in the next 5 years, that means I don't even need to live the next 5 years. I'll just be in the next 5 years already. Many of us are seeing ourselves. Where do you see yourself in the next 10 years? Where do you see yourself in the next 20 years? If you see yourself in the next 20 years, you will not be able to reach the next 20 years.
Because, why not enjoy the present?
Yes, because they'll say, hey, you cannot feature in a future you cannot picture. Motivational speaker is on. Picture your tomorrow first. What do you want to do tomorrow? Where do you see yourself tomorrow? Many people don't know where they see themselves tomorrow, and they are seeing themselves in the next 10 years. How? Many people, some unpractical vision that they have, because they cannot. If you have it's not bad to have it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you cannot see yourself in the next 5 years, but before you see yourself in the next 5 years, there are 365 times 5 days before you get to the next 5 years. So first see yourself for 365 times 5 days before you reach the next 5 years. So you see yourself for every day. Okay. Let's say I'm going to okay. Let's say you say okay, in the next 5 years you want to be charging 1 million naira, right? I know there are some advice here that are already charging that 1 million. They will not cast them. But you want to see yourself 1 million in the next okay, don't let me say 5 years, in the next 2 years. So 365 times 2 is that's 130 times 600. So that's 730. Now 730. That's 730 days. So let's say you are charging 100 naira. Let's say, sorry, you are increasing your charge by 1,000 naira per day. Okay, today I'm going to charge. I mean, it's not realistic that you're going to get clients every day for 730 days, right? But we're just saying something hypothetical. Now, let's say, okay, today I'll charge this client 1,000. Tomorrow, I'll charge 2,000. Tomorrow, 3,000. Tomorrow, 4,000. By 730 days, you will already be charging 730,000 naira. Now, that's not 1 million, but that is close to 1 million if you agree with me. Right? That's close to 1 million. So that means you are already close to achieving that goal, because you have already said that, okay, for the next 730 days, I'll be increasing my price range by 1,000 naira. Right? So instead of asking, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Ask, where do I see myself tomorrow? What do I do tomorrow? What is the next step? Don't look at, that's why many of us used to jump steps. If you are somebody like me now, if I'm climbing up a step, I don't used to climb one by one. I'll jump like 4 steps at the same time. Jump another 5. Jump another 6 to get to the top. By the time I get there, I'll be panting like a goat because I didn't take a step. But some people will take the step one by one. They'll take it. By the time they get there, it's not even be as if they climbed the step, because it's very, very easy when you climb the step one by one. It seems slow, but it's easier. But you get there faster. But when you get there, you'll be exhausted. You'll not be like, yeah, I for just take the normal route. So that's how it is. You stop looking for that big breakout. Not everybody get that big breakout. Not everybody get that big breakout. And so for some people that will get the big breakout, it will be as the result of a little bit of things that they do every day. Just a little bit. People that have diabetes today, right? It's slowly, that they were taking a lot of sugar. And when it got to a particular age of their lives, their insulin was not coming out as it used to. And they were still taking that thing because they have already built an habit of taking sugar, and it accumulated in their body to form diabetes. The goal was not diabetes, right? The goal was just sugar. The goal was, but they were taking it every day. Yeah, in fact, yeah, the goal was enjoyment, to enjoy sugar. Something sweet. But
enjoyment.
But they were doing it every day. And as they were doing it every day, they ended up with diabetes. So the same thing with many of us. We do some little good things, and that's the thing, because those little good things don't really they are not showing. They show. I joke from here to the end of the shoot. I know they do them again. No. I did 10 press up. You're flexing your muscles. You did 10 press up. You ate 24 laps of you do 10 press up, you eat 24 laps of fufu. Then the next time you do 10 press up is next month. The next time you do 10 press up is next month. You eat another 99 wraps of fufu that month. The next time you do it, 10 more. That's what many of us do. Many of us move 10 steps forward, 20 steps backward. 10 steps forward, 20 steps backward. Slowly by slowly, we are killing ourselves. 10 steps forward, 20 steps backward, because those little things that we are doing, we don't focus on them. We don't count them to anything. Like now, sometimes I have a particular book. These are habits. I'm giving you real life habits, so it's not be like, I'm just talking about what James Clear said. James Clear is not even a Nigerian. So let's relate to Nigeria now. As a graphic designer, I have a small book. I dawdle in that book. I draw anything that comes to mind. Anything that comes to mind. I can just sit down. Okay, today is an S down. Then I begin about S logos that have S in them. I begin to research about brand identity system that have S. I'm telling you what I do now. Like I built that. I begin to do that research. I go that link that leads to that link that links me to another link. I begin to use it, and I do it, and I go deeper in that particular thing. And at the end of the day, I already have an idea. Not because it started out as a big brand identity project. I didn't see a big company at first. I saw just an SO, ABCD, S that I saw. And it became a brand identity project. There's a particular project I'm even working on now. It started out as watching a particular talent show, and I wrote some things down. And from there on, it became a project that I hope to drop soon, God helping me. So yeah, I'll share the process here. So what am I saying? Those little things that you are doing because you're not focusing on them. Yes, because you are not focusing on them, you have not been able to make big impacts because you are looking for big things to do. Till today, no man can carry 500 blocks. I mean blocks like the one they used to build house, concrete blocks. Nobody can carry it at once. If you see 500 blocks today, you will just faint, and they say you should carry it, you will faint. But if you start carrying it 2 by 2, 250 times, by the 250th time, you would have finished. Right? There are some people
Yeah.
that are very strong, like Oga Saab now, they can carry 4 blocks at the same time. So if you carry 4, by the
You can even put
125th,
one in your mouth.
as the,
You use mouth to carry one.
yeah, some people put some one in their mouth. By the time,
So
but because we look at the bigger picture, we look at the very broad picture, so it's very, very difficult for us to even start because the journey far, the journey is far, but we don't start with there's one thing motivational speaker said: the journey of 1,000 miles begin with a step. So yes, they are very correct in that sense, because many of us, the problem is taking that first step, stretching out your leg. In fact, the journey of 1,000 steps does not even, of 1,000 miles does not even really begin with a step. It begins with lifting up your leg. But because many of us, you are so, you are looking at the 1,000 miles as a very far place. So before you lift up your leg, you would have thought about 100 reasons why you will not reach the destination. So by the time you have thought about those 100 reasons, because everything accumulates, right? You think leads to another reason. Then by the time you want to raise up your leg, 100 things have already weighed you down. So you are 100%, you're already 100% more heavier. So for you to raise up your leg is even a problem. If you take that first step and you look at your leg and you just take that first step, by the time you take the second step and you take the third step and you take the fourth step, you just find it easy that you are taking it one step at a time. Now it's like you are just taking one step. It's not as if you are taking 100 steps. It's as if you are taking one step. So every time in your mind, it is one step you are taking, not 100 steps you have taken. It is one step you are taking. It's a continuous process. By the time you reach 1,000 miles, you want to go another 1,000. Why? Because you feel that it's just one step. So let's go on. If you can see the small text below, I don't know if you can see it. Let me increase it a little bit. I was playing a little bit with the man's name. If it's patience, a little bit of joke. So mastery requires patience. Many of us are not patient. Nigeria as a whole, they have built a identity brand. In fact, the branding of Nigeria is impatience. The branding of Nigeria is impatience. Yeah, I'm a brand identity designer. So in everything, in fact, these days now, I've been seeing branding in everything. Okay, this brand, what do you do? A particular nation, what is their brand? What have they branded themselves as? This person that's selling this thing, what is the brand and stuff like that. So see Nigeria, their brand is impatience. They like rushing things, and that rush to do a lot of things. In fact, many of us, as little as our clothes, we don't let it dry. Clothes, you dry. So people cannot leave outside to dry and dry. Yes, I'm talking to you. You know yourself. You cannot leave your clothes to dry well. Your clothes will still be wet. You just carry it inside. Now can do it. It's not silly. We rush a lot of things, a lot of it. So that's a lot of us don't achieve because the process too far direct. The process he said that, like, when you get a particular idea, okay, show Saab and be like, okay, we tell you that don't stop at this, go further. But a lot of people, because that particular idea, as the hot akara, now you the hot now, go go carry that idea, put it as your best option. You put it as your best option. You don't have any other options. So when you have that one idea as your best option, you lead. I just for me, not to be sure. Can you hear me?
yeah.
I'm not sure if it's
Okay.
but it looks like it's breaking up a little bit.
Okay. Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So mastery requires patience. Then I put the name James true and clear because like what he was saying is true and clear, right? You get it.
Yeah.
Um Now the next side, forget about goals and focus on systems. Forget or something a while back. I said um uh, I said something and positioning. Positioning. So anything with ing means it's continuous, right? So you keep positioning yourself. Now bringing it is a lot of us we don't have systems that work. We don't have. I'm not talking about laptops, computer systems, or whatever. I'm talking about like behavioral systems that work. Many of us are just focusing on one time thing. One time thing. You do this thing one time, and it ends. In fact, the worst part of it is that many of us do some things. We do it does not work for us, and instead of looking for why it does not work, we discard it and we go for another route. We discard it and we go for another route. And because of that, we cannot build sustainable systems. Because when you want to now do that, when you want to do that same thing again, you now hit another roadblock. You now discard that one. You now go and find another route. So you don't have a particular, yes, you achieve that goal, but you don't have a particular system that, when I want to do this thing, this is the pattern. And so at the end of the day, you start thinking again from the beginning, and it's not something that is sustainable. It's not something that is sustainable. For example, a lot of us, I don't know how many of us will agree with this, but why most of us say we eat creative blocks? I know it happens that sometimes we have some little bit of block in thinking, right? But because why most of us dwell or we stay in a creative block for quite a while is because we have failed to build systems that work. We have failed to build systems that work. And why am I saying this? I'm saying this because a lot of us, when we do a particular thing or we do a particular project, we don't look at the process in which we took, or we don't document our process. We just do what we do anyhow we want to do it. And when we do it at that, and when we achieve that goal, we discard that process system. We discard it. So when another project comes, we now have to start thinking again from the beginning. At the end of the day, you notice that the project you did before is similar to the project you are doing. If, for example, if you are a brand identity designer, because I saw a lot of us in our description where we were talking about branding, right? If you are a designer and you are taking brand identity projects, the only difference between this brand identity project and this brand identity project is the details. The details, the company name, the new color, and stuff like that. You can build a system that works for you in the sense that this particular client that you have just done a project for, you use the same templates. I'm not talking about physical template now. The same thinking process for this particular project. And the only thing you need to just change is a few things. Because we cannot build sustainable systems, go back to the beginning. And we always go back to the beginning. And the thing about going back to the beginning is that I was having a call with somebody that is on this call right now. And I told him that if you are in a road, you a dead end. For example, you're walking on a road, you have walked for 1 hour. It will be easy because you would, in fact, some people just sit down beside the road and just sleep there first for like 1 hour before they start the journey because they have reached a dead end. That's the thing about reaching dead ends. Once we reach a dead end, we give up. It is a normal phenomenon with human beings. Once we reach a dead end, many people just and we have to go back to the beginning. Not that you reach a dead end and there's an alternative. No. When you reach a dead end and you have to go back to the beginning and start looking for another road from the beginning point, then we tend to not do anything again. So that is the problem about going back to the beginning. It's not sustainable. It's not sustainable. So forget about what is at the end of the road. Focus on building a process to get to that goal. Go about the results you want to achieve. Systems and the processes you take to achieve them. Let's ask this question. Like, which of the texts, there's a particular text that is in black, there's a particular text that is in gold. Which one makes you focus more? I just want to know. Like, which one makes you look at the page closely? You can see my screen. I don't know. Can everybody see my screen?
Yeah,
okay, you can see my screen. Yeah?
Goals are
what
about the results you want to achieve. Systems are the processes you take to achieve them. Yeah.
Which one catches your focus more? Like, which one catches your focus? Which one makes you want to look at the screen close? The black, right? The black.
The black is clear.
Yeah.
The orange is
clear. Like, I'm not talking about the one that is clear. I'm talking about which one makes you want to like focus on the screen more. Like, you want to know what's there. The black.
The orange,
black, right?
the orange. Because it's not clear.
Like,
no, the black.
You want to know you want to know what is there. The black. The black.
The orange,
somebody said the orange. Okay. Or that's which one, I beg?
I think the thing is, the black actually has a lot more contrast than the orange. So the black, like, it catches the eye first, then later on the orange now sort of grabs, like, retains attention. I think that's the thing.
Okay, I just wanted to know. Okay, thank you very much for your input. Yeah. So if you can see what is down, I said. Okay, sorry, it's not me that said it though. It's James Clare. James Clare said that you do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems.
Yeah.
So I put James not so clear there. Why? Because I didn't really understand what he said there at first. I didn't understand it at first. So the person that said, Oga Hussein, please explain to us, what do you think he meant by what he said? He said, you do not... Why did you say
what I know is, no, I was actually flowing with the quote.
The opposite. You do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. James not so clear said that. So
okay.
Guys, I want to help us out.
No, I was actually just responding to what you said, that you said James not so clear actually said something.
Okay. So James clear that not clear. So you do not level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. Now, okay, so give an example we gave. He said, if you are a coach in a football team, your goal is to win the championship, right? Your goal is to win the trophy, right? But if somebody focuses on those processes that will make you win that championship, in the end, your probability of winning championship, except there are some referees that are against your club, is very, very. So let me ask, what means that you do not rise to the level of your goals? Why? Because when you achieve those goals, there will be nothing else to do for you.
Exactly.
Like, some people are so hyper in a sense that once they achieve that goal, they'll feel like when they, because the human nature is insatiable. Nobody is satisfied. That's why I see all these politicians, after they have embezzled our life savings, they'll go and borrow and still
You
embezzle
don't
what
have
they borrow.
evidence, though. You don't have evidence,
Eh?
though. You don't have evidence.
Okay, make I just dey explain. Believe me, make I dey explain. Make I explain. So
Just
after leave me, make I dey explain. After they have already squandered the Nigeria's life savings, they'll go and borrow and squander that one because they are insatiable. So when you have achieved a particular goal, because you are focusing on that goal, because you have already risen your level to that extent. Now, what do goals do for you? What do achieving goals do for you? They take you to a particular level, right, of that
yeah.
particular goal, right? For example, goals are goals. There are some goals that are of higher reward. There are some goals of higher reward. Let's say you achieve a goal of higher reward and you have another goal that is of a smaller reward. Because you have achieved a goal of a higher reward, to achieve that goal of a smaller reward, you go come dey do you somehow. You go come be like, this thing is too small. I've done something that is big now. I've done something that is big. But if you focus on a system, even if it's the smallest one and you follow that particular thing, you find it easy to achieve it because you are already used to that particular system. You're already used to that particular system. Like now, for example, your digestive system. Even though it's a longer process, right? Are we following me?
Yeah.
Are we following? Good.
Yeah.
Your digestive system. That's what system. The same process that biscuit will pass. It's the
Can
same
I give
process
an
that.
example, please? It's
Yes,
like
yes, I'm following
students
you.
that are preparing for exam. The moment we finish the exam like this, there's nothing like reading again till next semester.
There's nothing there. But if you build an habit of reading,
Of reading
in
every
fact,
day.
of reading every day. In fact, your goal is you'll not be looking at the goal of okay, I'll pass this exam. You'll be looking at the goal of okay, I will get knowledge, I will gain knowledge, I will gain knowledge. That's the way you'll be looking at those tasks. But because you are looking at let me just pass the exam, immediately after you pass, you finish writing the exam, you leave reading. But if you build an habit, a system of reading every day, in fact, when you achieve your goals, you might not even notice that you have achieved the goals. You just okay,
Exactly.
that's a win. Is a win for me, and you go on and because you have built a system. So, like I said, your digestive system, it is the same way it works. It will go from it's not as if biscuit is going to pass your hand to come out. No, it will not pass your hand. Yeah, you want to say something? Somebody was talking. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me continue. It's not as if biscuit is going to pass your hand or it's going to come out from your nose. The same way biscuit is going to digest is the same way eba is going to digest, the same way rice is going to digest, because it is a system. It is a system. It is a system. It's a system. So yeah, let's go forward. So
Sorry,
now we have understood.
let me add this real quickly to what you
Okay.
actually mentioned about digestive system. I think this is something that we can even still implement into our careers. I mean, for majorly for those people who are brand designers, that's why it is majorly called a brand identity system, right? A brand identity system. And this is something that a lot of people don't understand. You know, people say, oh, your branding is not your logo, your branding is not this. Just a lot of people just want to say something with expensive microphones and all of that. But it's really more about brand identity system. And the word system there, it actually makes it clear that it is something that actually creates flexibility into your brand identity that you can follow every. That's why you see that brand identities have the brand guidelines that they have to follow every now and then, right?
Yeah.
How they should use their logos, how the colors should be. So it's like a system that has like a process, right, that can take place over and over again in a brand. So it will now create an
Exactly.
identity over time in the mind of in the
Exactly.
mind of the audience. I don't know if
Exactly.
that's it. I just wanted to chip this in real quickly so it can just go straight to when people are talking about brand identity system or things like that. Yeah, go ahead, please.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that's correct. That's very correct. So I hope you are following because now only two people the idea. Yes, is one here. As everybody else, how many people are still on this call? I beg.
We are
Because
here.
it's getting
We do,
interesting.
we do.
It's getting interesting, and a lot of people are missing out. Okay.
Oh,
Let's continue. Let's continue. Okay. Problems with focus on goals. Problems with focusing on goals. So this problem goals, winners have same goals. Yeah, winners and losers have the same goals. For example, if you are working towards a client, you and your competitor, you have the same goal. And what is that goal? To achieve to get that client. That is the goal. Everybody's goal is to get that big client. Everybody's goal is to get that $1 million contract that is going to change their life forever. But the difference between you and the person that is just looking at, okay, let me just get that $1 million client is that you build a system that works, that when you get to that point where that $1 million client appears, you'll be able to land that client. Because somebody else that his goal is to get the client and he has not built a system that works. He's just looking at the goal. At the end of the day, when the client comes, he might not even be able to land the client because he has not built a system that works. Hope we are following. So winners and losers have the same goals. Everybody has the same goals. Everybody's chasing the bag. If you meet 100 people today, what are you doing? I dey hustle. I'm chasing the bag. Everybody's hustling. It is the system, the process that your own hustle take you that is going to depend on how well the result comes out. How well the result comes out. So I'm not you see now that I'm not using the word goals. I'm saying how well the result comes. Every process you follow has a result. It depends on whether you are patient enough to follow the result, the process through. If you are going to, for example, let me give an example now. If a calculator is going to add 100 plus 100, let me tell you how a calculator works. Because it's fast. That's why many of us, this calculator is fast, gone, scientific calculator. Because it does it in milliseconds, that's why we don't know. It adds every digit of 100 together in a very, very fast pace. Like, in fact, the way we add this thing, add figures together is not the same way a calculator adds figures together. Right? It adds 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. That's what a computer does. 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 because it adds in bits. So it's adding 1 bit of that digit very fast. Very fast. Even though our own process, it looks as if it's slow. So that's why our process looks like it's slow. Why? Because when we are adding big digits together, we're trying to say, okay, what is 5 plus 5 and this one? That one has added plenty ones in milliseconds.
yeah.
It has added plenty ones in milliseconds. You are still, small ones in milliseconds. You are still trying to add, what is 5 plus 5? Carry 1 here, carry 2 here.
At the time.
You are trying to carry. And that one has already added ones. He has added 1 bit in at very fast pace. So that's the way it is. Yeah. When you the goal is to achieve that particular calculation. but the process the calculator follows helps it to achieve that particular goal. Achieving a goal is only a momentary change. That's what we have explained this before. Human being is insatiable. When you achieve that goal, what's next? What's next? When you land that $1 million client, what next? Will you land the next one?
Exactly.
That is a question for you.
Exactly.
Because when you have landed one, can you sustain landing another one?
Exactly.
Can you sustain landing another one? Goals restrict your happiness. It still boils down to the same thing. People are not satisfied. Politicians have been borrowing money. They have a lot. That's why I don't understand though. They have a lot of money, but still they borrow money and they embezzle the money they borrowed. Like Oga Uzeni said, we don't have evidence, so we go just dey talk am low key. We go just dey explain. No evidence. But we know what we know. And we'll say what we know. That so goals restrict your happiness. Once you have achieved this goal, there's that feeling. I don't know if anybody has had it before. There's that feeling that I can do more. There's more to this thing. There's something else. It gets something where I never do. So that when you are looking at just goals, when you have achieved that goal, you feel empty. But once you have a system, it makes you feel safe. It makes you feel safe that okay, if there's a probability that another thing will arise apart from this level that I've reached, then I have something that I can use, a process I can follow to achieve it. Goals are odd with long-term progress. Same thing we are talking about. Goals are odd with long-term process. A student that is just reading to pass his exam, this semester we get 5.0. The next semester I may not get 5.0. Why? Because he has not built a system that works for him. So the one that he has already done this system, he might get away with it. The next semester, when he's just reading to pass the exam, he find it hard, hit a roadblock, and when he hits a roadblock, he gets to the exam, he blacks out. He's not able to do well enough like he did in the previous time. But somebody that system, even when some things seem hard, he already has a backup plan. He already has a plan that can work for him when he gets into the exam hall. So these are the problems with focusing on goals. And from here, we can see that there are some reasons why, these are also reasons why we should build a system. Change your identity. So,
this part,
yeah. So we'll be looking at this. This is not like everything I've been saying, all the subtopics you have been saying, they are not names of chapters. In fact, everything I just finished, they are just from one chapter, so that you're not going to be looking for the chapter that is named PLOL or PLOP. No, it's just points I picked from different chapters, mostly chapter 1 and 2. Yeah, chapter 1 and 2. So change your identity. You can see a little bit of image just to show you what is going on. Just did that. Yeah. So you have a new goal and a new plan, but you have not changed who you are, James Clear. So, like we said before, I've said it before, many of us, every new 2024 will come, people will do New Year resolution. Abi? Yes, I'm talking to you. You know yourself. You do New Year resolution. Resolute, you not resolute. January will pass, no resolution. February, no resolution. September have reached now. Some people have not started their New Year resolution. Because, why? They have new goals. They have new plans. I mean, everybody's chasing the bag every year, please. Do you know since when I've been chasing the bag? The bag. If to say I'm using that time I'm using to chase the bag, I've been running, like I've been an athlete, I've been running. I thought, do you know how many races I would have won? Many of us have been chasing the bag. If to say we dey run marathon, we for don't finish. So you have a new goal, you have a new plan, but you have not changed who you are. Many people are like, I'm not good enough. I'm not, this is how I am.
I'm a
Some
lazy
some
person.
people that even used to vex me, that they will now take it to family history. That's how we used to do in our family. What do you used to do in your family? What has your family achieved? Eh? You're not top. That's a, that it's just me. That's the way I am. Uh,
Exactly.
eh, I have anger issues. I am Leo. I'm leopard. I'm crocodile. I'm virtue. What's all those what do you say is zodiac sign? Be zobo sign. It's God
I'm a,
that
melancholy. I'm a sanguine. I'm a
nobody say these things are not good. Yes, they are part of the study of psychology. Psychologists are trying to make their money too. They are trying to make headway in their research.
yeah.
Nobody's
Exactly.
saying nobody's
Kaka.
saying they are
Me,
nobody's
I'm saying
saying
is
they
Kaka.
cannot. nobody nobody's nobody is saying they cannot you cannot look at those research and believe them, but they should not define who you are. They should not define who you are. Many people have defined themselves in a particular way that because of that thing they are now using a particular set of habits to cover up. For
Me, I'm
example,
even confused. I don't even know it. I have several traits. Some are sanguine, some are melancholy, some are, I don't even know which one again.
as in some people they will say I'm Leo, I'm leopard.
Uh-uh.
Agree every time. They will say they will not do another. They will not do another thing. They will not say they are virtue. I be they are virtue me. They will do another thing. They will say they are. What is it? There's one particular one that I'm looking for. It's God that will help them. Oh. So these things should not define you. You should define who you are. You, you yourself, define who you are. Don't let anybody come and define. Nobody knows your psychology more than you do. Nobody knows the way you think. Nobody knows the way you think. Like nobody can know the way. If people can only guess and they can guess rightly, but they cannot know you the way you know you. Nobody can know you. Even the people that give birth to you, they cannot know you. Some people will say, I know you like the back of nobody knows you. That's why some people they are we hear stories of a child doing this one to the parent and they think they know the child. No, nobody knows you. So nobody can know the way
Even you
your
don't
your
know
thought
yourself.
process. Eh.
You don't know yourself
So
completely because
eh?
self-discovery is even another journey. I said, even
Yeah,
you yourself,
yeah.
you don't know yourself completely because
Yeah,
self-discovery
you
is even
don't
another journey.
yes, you don't know yourself completely, but you know yourself the most. So
Yeah.
yeah, I agree. I agree, you don't know yourself completely. So true behavior change is identity change. James
Mm.
Clear. True behavior change is identity change. Hope you can see it. Can we see that part? Can we see where I'm talking
Yes.
about?
Yes, I
Okay.
can.
True behavior change is identity change. So many of us we cannot stop that habit because we have not changed our identity. He gave an example for somebody that is a
Wow. Like, can anyone hear me?
No,
I think it's network. Oh. Hello, is anyone up here?
I can hear you.
Okay. That means, I think that will be his network.
Network. Yeah, it's back.
Sorry for the break in transmission. Can everybody hear me, please?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, let me just go back to. Before. Okay. Yeah. Where were we? Okay. So this is where we were. Change your identity. So stop. Okay. Okay. So we're on change your identity, and we're saying you have a new goal, a new plan, but you have not changed. And we said true behavior is identity change. Just to make sure, are you guys hearing me?
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know why this is not. Okay. So when your behavior and your identity are fully aligned, you are no longer pursuing behavioral change. You are simply acting like the type of person you believe yourself to be. So I was talking about people that are addicted to smoking. People that are addicted to smoking. People that are addicted to smoking, you can hear something like, I am trying to quit smoking. I am trying to. I am trying to. You are trying to means you are not, in sense. Not that you are not trying. That means you are like you have not become the person you want to be. But if you are confident and say, okay, I am not a smoker. So you wanted to say something?
Yeah, that's you've mentioned it already. That's just like, when you say I'm trying to quit this, I'm trying to quit that. That means I'm still this person, but I'm just
Yeah,
trying to. So I've not changed my
yeah,
identity that way. I'm still that person. So it will
yeah,
be hard for me to change if my identity is not changed yet.
exactly. So some people are still trying to do a lot of things, still trying to do a lot of things. And until we see ourselves as, okay, I am this, like a definitive purpose for our identity, a definitive thing. Yeah, we cannot really and we cannot sincerely change our behaviors, because if you say you are trying to, that means you are still a smoker, and somebody that is trying to smoke will just smoke. You probably was taking 15 drags of the stick before. That means he's now taking 13. Probably is now taking 12. Probably is now taking 5. He's still smoking though. Still his lung may not be dark brown or chocolate. His lung may not be gray. or it will be approaching white, but he's still smoking. But if you say, okay, I'm not a smoker. I'm not a smoker means I am not. It does not matter if I've been smoking before. I am not like, I'm not involved in this particular thing. It's definitive. It's definitive. Even if you know that you are still struggling with, okay, he sees a cigarette and he's recovering from addiction to smoking, it still says that I am not a smoker. Somebody that wants to offer you a cigarette will not offer you because you said that, okay, I'm not a smoker. But if you say I'm trying to, that's why people are easily influenced. Like now you see some thing that they say there's pressure tiwa or something like that. You see it online. People are pressuring people. So because you are still trying to make up your mind, so they can easily invade your thoughts. And that's, let me just say a little bit of something. That's the that's many things that it can help you to land a client and you can lose a client, in the sense that if a client is trying to still make up his or her mind, that's the best time to convince the person, because the mind is not settled. Like the mind is to and fro. So if you convince that person to give you that particular contract at that particular point in time, before the person regains consciousness and the person is like, why did I even give this person this contract? You have already landed your contract, you're already working. But some people, when the client is still trying to make the decision, some people just keep quiet and be watching and be looking. And at the end of the day, the client will be like, oh, I've made my decision. This is not convincing enough. So at that point in time where you say you are vulnerable, your thoughts are vulnerable. So people can easily invade. People can easily affect influence you. That's what I'm just saying. Yeah. So if you see yourself in a particular way, you'll be able to do what you see yourself as. So that boils down to a motivational quote. I think I quoted along the line that many people have misunderstood. They say you cannot feature in a future you cannot picture. Let your future let your future be like who you want to be, who you are looking, like the identity you want to have. Like, for example, if you look at a brand identity system, when Nike started, Nike was not like this big brand, but they first of all changed their identity to what they wanted to be, what they were looking forward to being. Because I read the history of Nike. If you see the amounts that you are saying you cannot do logo for 5K, that Nike logo, if you see the amounts that they stole that logo for, it was a big steal. It was a big steal. Okay, so the person that did the logo at that time was probably just chilling. The lady was chilling. He just did free logo for them. And today now, they are a very big brand. But apart from just the logo and all, the brand identity system they created for themselves was not the identity of come and buy Okrika, all these Igbo men, all these Igbo merchants in Alaba market that they are selling shoes or they are selling athletic stuff. No, they created an identity of a brand that is global, worldwide. And today you cannot even picture, I think it's USA that it started from, even not because of history and all. Nike is everywhere. You cannot even know whether Nike is from Nigeria or is a Nigerian man that started it, or is from Germany, or is from, even not because they say, okay, they have history and they say this is where it started from. If they not tell you the history, you will not know, because Nike is everywhere. I saw an Indian man on YouTube doing a video ad for Nike. India, those people, they wear shoe. Not be leg they use waka about, and they are still doing this thing for Nike. So that's to tell you that Nike has gone places, not like all those people that are selling Okrika. So it depends on the identity you choose for yourself, you build for yourself. So even celeb people that are going to CS, Keruba and Seraphim, if they see Nike designer, Air Jordan, they will collect it. Even though they don't used to wear shoes, they will collect it. So let's continue. That's I'm just joking, no offense. We do not change by snapping our fingers. Sorry for the hyphen in between. The font I used. Next size. They are still trying out the font. We change bit by bit, day by day, habit by habit. Like, I want us to say it together. If you can see it, you can say it. Motivational speaker. If you can see it, you can say it. So if you can see it, you can say it. I don't know if everybody can see it. Can we see it? Can we see what I'm talking about? The footnote. the footnote on this page.
I
Let
can't
me make
I can't
let
see
me
it.
make it
It's
clear.
not
I'm coming.
changed by.
I'm coming. Let me make it clear. Sorry. Sorry for the little. Okay. The problem is this thing is not. It was horizontal before. Okay. So let me just read what is there. We don't change by snapping our fingers. We change bit by bit, day by day, habit by habit. So we don't just change by abracadabra. There's no juju for change. There's no juju for change. We have to change. It's a step-by-step process. It's a step-by-step process. So in as much as you want to change the way you are, the way you people see you, that identity, you have to do it step by step, process by process, day by day. Every day must be a change process for you. Every day must be a change process for you. So that's what James so clear was saying. That was very clear. Yeah. So the most practical way to change who you are is to change what you do. So, like we said, you do not change by snapping your fingers. You change bit by bit, day by day, habit by habit, a bit by a bit, habit by habit, whatever you want to call it. So you change who you are by changing what you do. Like I said at the beginning, you do not the goal, like the little tasks that you have to perform, in a day or in a month or in a week, and you focus on them, they help you, they accumulate to make a bigger impact. We talked about the 1% rule. So the most practical way to change who you are is to change what you do. What you do in the sense that, for example, if you say you want to read, like you want to be a person that reads, you want to be a reader, right? If you start reading one page of a book a day, and you don't say, okay, I'll read a book and I'm going to pause for the rest of the year. You start reading one page of a book a day, change from, okay, read one page, one book for 6 months, and start reading one page of a book a day for 365 days. Even if that book is 400 pages and you have not finished reading that book by the end of the year, you would have built an habit of reading over a longer time. Because if you perform a task over a longer time, it helps you to build an habit of doing that thing over a long time. Are we understanding what I'm saying?
That's right.
Yeah. So if you want to become a particular thing, you have to start behaving like that. You have to start doing what moves you closer to who you want to become. I want to become I want to have 6 packs now. Okay, I have to start exercising daily. I know that I have to exercise. There's no how. I have to start eating healthy. I cannot eat this particular food. So it helps you to become who you want to be. And it all boils down to having a system that works. Everything is connected. Having a system that works. So if you say, okay, I want to, in the next this thing, in the goal, okay, is to become a gym instructor. Okay, I know that every day I have to start going to the gym. I have to, like, Oga Saab now. I don't know. Probably want to do gym instructor. I go come your gym. Oh. Okay, so you go to the gym every weekend or go to gym all this time. Okay, I'll not eat eba. Like Hussein, I'll not eat eba. I'll I'll not eat eba.
Or
Okay,
even
this is what
this
I'll
about
eat. I'll eat
this
chicken and chips today. I'll do this one. I'll do this one. So it's if you change the way you do, you you can change who you are. You can change who you want. Like you can become who you want to be. So he said something. He said those little votes that you make, like okay, I vote to eat right. I vote to exercise. I vote to jog every day. I vote to not do this one. I vote to do this one. Those little votes that you make can make who you want to become, who you want to become, who you want to become. So yeah. Um yeah. So I think we have come to the end of the slide. Yeah. So basically, a few things that I'll just say is that we should try and number one, read this book. It's very good. Then we should try and do what is there. We should not just like read the book. Try and practice what you see there. What you see there. It's very important. Um, those little things that you know that you have been doing that are not good enough, and those little things that you know that you have been doing that okay, they help you a lot. You have to start focusing on the good things and trying to drop the bad things. So yeah, and also build systems that work, not just in your career path, also in your daily living. In your daily living, you know that okay, oh, you have a problem with eating right, and you know that a timetable is something you can follow. Habit of okay, oh, I have a timetable for this week, and I'm going to follow what is on that timetable. Right, and it's going to be hard at first. Like we said, habit is something that you do subconsciously, but those subconscious efforts those subconscious things first started consciously. Yes,
Yeah.
those like now some people sniffle. You can hear what I'm doing, right? Some people do it. I do it a lot too. The first time you started, you thought you had kata, abi? You thought you had kata. So you started doing, and at the end of the day, even when you don't have kata, your mind is processing that you have kata because subconsciously you have already built an habit of. Some people they do it all the time. They do it all the time, and it has become a part of them.
In
It has
fact,
become
part of their
a part.
branch. When
Yeah,
they hear, they know that this person is coming.
is as in you is so built in that they don't even know they are doing it again. They don't know they are doing it. They don't know they are doing it. It's a subconscious effort now. So, but it first started consciously. So those conscious efforts that you can make to build subconscious efforts, to build subconscious habits, you should start making them. Yeah. So that's all. I think we have had a good session.
You may,
Thank you so much.
you may want things, sir. Please, you have to apologize for the tables that you broke. All these tables that you.
I beg you. I didn't break tables. I'm still chasing the bag. Oh. I never get money like this.
Very well.
Very quickly,
That
please.
was
Very
a
quickly,
beautiful
please.
session.
There's actually a few things that I actually wanted to chip in, and you would help me with the slides to go back. So, uh, there's this point. I mean, this identity change, I think, is one of the biggest things, or let me say, it's one of let me use the word powerful. It's one of the most powerful strategies you can actually use. to turn your life around, to turn your habits around. Okay, this is the thing. He mentioned, James Clear mentioned that it's one thing to tell yourself, I'll be reading every day, or this or that. And it's another thing to tell yourself, I'm a reader. You see, this thing, when I got to understand this concept, right, it's now began to like channel into a lot of things that, even in different aspects, apart from habits. Okay, for example, let's say this is where you get to understand that the identity change is very, very powerful. Let's say James Clear also mentioned something. He said, what you do, although I can't really remember how exactly he said it, but I can just remember what exactly he was trying to say there. So he said, what you do is like a reflection of who you believe yourself to be, or who you see yourself to be. That's in quotes, that in brackets, that's like what your identity is, right? So that's like what you are doing, whether you know it or not, whether consciously or unconsciously, it is who you believe yourself to be. If you believe yourself to be this kind of person that when he or she wakes up, goes on Instagram, starts laughing on reels, right? Goes to what's it called? Goes to maybe WhatsApp, starts talking about rubbish stuff and starts looking at different WhatsApp statuses and all of that. You're actually doing those things because you still see yourself as the person who does those things. Not even because you are doing them. You are doing it is different from when you say you are doing something, that's more of like a verb, right? But when you say you are this kind of person who does something, you are this kind of person, that's more of like a noun, although I don't know much about English and all of this stuff, right? So this thing actually happened when I wanted to sort of, especially in terms of this social media thingy, I told myself that, although this might sound somehow right here, but I told myself that I'm an impact to the world. I mean, I'll always create impact wherever I go. Although I don't say it that way, I say it in a way, I say it in a way that I attach it as an identity to myself, that I am an impact to the world, right? So this is where this thing comes off. When I find myself scrolling on social media, laughing, doing, I know I'm wasting time. I know I'm doing this rubbish. And I remember that, oh, who am I? You see, this thing now makes you respect yourself even more. You see, Alex Hormozi, for those people who knows who Alex Hormozi is, Alex Hormozi said something. He said, how did he put this? He said, the hardest respect to earn is your self-respect. That means it's so hard for you to respect yourself, for you to earn your own respect. But this is where you can actually get to use it. If you change your identity, trust me, you'd respect yourself so much. When I find myself scrolling on social media and I remember, oh, I'm an impact. I'm not saying that I will be an impact to the world. I'm not saying that I'm trying to be. I said I'm an impact to the world. And someone who's an impact to the world won't do this. Because I want to respect myself and I believe that I will be that person, I will quit social media, even if it's as interesting as hell. So that way it sort of creates not just identity, but it also helps you respect yourself, right? When you respect yourself, trust me, other people will respect you. It also shapes the activities you do. Okay, you want to have 6 packs, right? You tell yourself, I'm this person who is in a good shape, not just somebody who is building a six pack, or there's a huge difference between placing that identity on yourself and just saying you are trying to. Just like he mentioned earlier, he said, when you're telling yourself you are trying to do something, then you are vulnerable. That means someone can enter you easily. Other opinions can enter your opinion, can penetrate, right? So secondly, is this stacking of little habits or little activities. I'll give a very, very relatable example. I mean, this community, when it started at first, it started at one of I think it was Muhammad or someone. So he reached out to me. Okay, he actually needed help with something somehow. Okay, he got to, okay, let me learn from you, this, that. Okay, personal mentorship, one-on-one mentorship. Then later on, it wasn't a kind of large community or something. It was nothing. It was just one-on-one. Okay, me and you, I teach you this, you teach me that, this and that, right? Then later on, I got someone else who was telling me, okay, he wants me to mentor him and all of that. Same way, he got into the community. Then like that and like that and like that. It's like now kind of compounded into like a community. Okay, let's do it this way. Let's create a group. Everyone are there. We don't even have activities that we even do. We don't have any system in place, right? We just say, okay, do you have any questions? Yeah, drop your questions, answer it. We didn't have any serious systems. But right now, from then till now, if I was there looking for systems, looking for this big community that I want to create, looking for this marketing strategy, looking for this, looking for that, looking for this, looking for that, I think I'll still be here today and I wouldn't have this community. But we started with one person, two persons, three persons. We didn't even have any system in place. It was even recently that we even updated the activities that we do. Those things that we do consistently. And funny enough, that's one of the things that we also do, even in this book review. We have this book review session just once every month, at the end of every single month, right? It's not something that we do anytime or anyhow. We already have a system that helps us do it consistently. And there's still one thing we hold on to. We tell ourselves that we are not at our destination yet. I mean, there's still way bigger room for improvement. Our activities can become way better. Our systems in which we use in achieving stuff can still become way better. So that's the thing. It's just like gradually. Some of you, he mentioned earlier, just putting out your work, you feel like you need to wait for that day that you are able to put this together, put that together before you can post something. Well, just start. I know this is something a lot of people say out there on social media right now, that just start, just do it. But it's actually true. Just start something very little. Then later on, even if you don't have a system for it yet, just start first. Don't really worry about something that you do later on. Start first. Then later on, you can even start creating systems that will help you achieve those things consistently. Right. So I believe this session is actually, this presentation is actually broken into these two parts. The identity aspect and the little habit stacking aspect. That's like taking little things together that will compound over time, right? So I really want to hope that this session, we learned quite a lot from this session, and we gained some value. Some of us, I believe, because the problem that I might now have with most of us right now is after getting off this session, we go to bed, right? Or maybe some that work in the midnight, you do this stuff, and tomorrow you are back on your normal day. Well, if you are back on your normal day without implementing any of what you've learned, Alex Homosi said something. He said, after learning something and your behavior doesn't change, he said you learned nothing. And that means not just that you learned nothing, that means that you wasted your time, you wasted your money. If you invested your money into it, you wasted almost all your resources during that period. So please make sure to implement, even if it's just a very little thing that you can implement for now. This might be just one aspect, maybe taking something very little, starting with something very little that we mentioned. It might be by changing your identity, because in fact that identity change is a major, is a big win for me personally. You can just start with something, then later on you'd begin to improve and your results will compound over time. And it also requires patience, right? I think this book itself is value packed, and just this little, I believe it will really go a long way for us if we actually implement. In fact, I would want to add a pro tip. For me personally, I actually have, I don't know if it's sticky notes or what they call this stuff that people do use to read books. I have them. I have those identity, how will I put this? Those identity that I see myself to be, right? I have them sticked right in front of the wall. That makes me remember when I'm actually misbehaving, when I'm actually doing the wrong thing, right? Okay, when I look up, I mean, if you also read the book, you get to understand these four principles or something that will help you create your habits in a very easy and faster way. So that's like you make it something that is available and accessible very easily. So when you can see something that is maybe, for example, you've written, I'm a reader, or I'm a great designer, I'm an amazing designer, I'm this, I'm that, right? Make it somewhere that is very accessible and visible. Don't go and keep it in, don't write it inside a book and go and keep it somewhere. No. Make it very, very obvious. So I can see it and you can just get it handy at any time, right? So all of this will actually help along, even if you don't even read the book anymore. If you implement just this, I guarantee you and I promise you that just within the next 3 to 6 months, even 6 months is too long, I guarantee you that you begin to get, major changes even in your own life, right? So I think we can call this a day right now, and I believe we had a great session. Thank you so much, Darasimila. I mean, this was a banger, and it was so much fun. This made me understand the experience when people say learning doesn't have to be so strict. Learning can also be fun, right? I believe this session made learning so fun. We ate Eba, we cold Eba and hot Eba. Yeah, majorly cold Eba, sorry. So yeah, I believe we can call it a day. And at the same time, we do have this at the end of every single month. And this is not the end, actually. We are still having another person presenting tomorrow. I think next tomorrow. For about 5 days, or let me say approximately a week, within a week we finish up our what's it called? This book review session, to be able to review the book, if not to the end, but just to be able to get something, majorly for those people that are not able to read the book, right? So I really hope this actually helps, and I hope we got some value from it so far. So I believe we can call it a day. And if anyone has any question, please, you can drop it in the group. I think the group is opened. We will leave it open, right? So you can drop your questions. If you have anything to say, or even if you want to reach out to Darasimi, you can reach out to him. You can connect better. I hope you have a good day, good night's rest. And if anyone has anything to say or any question to ask, please go ahead. All right. Thank you so much. So, closing this session right now. Thank you so much for joining.